More redos! And this is in honor of Warriors release, so cue intro. I'm Light Melody, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Theory. The game is awakening, and today we will be redoing Brady. And I'm also, hopefully, gonna try to get this up on the 20th because this video is in honor of Warriors coming out, and I'm getting it over Mario Odyssey. Why? Because it comes out before it, and knowing most of Nintendo's fan base, it will probably get pushed aside in favor of Odyssey. So I'm gonna support a series I think deserves a bit more recognition, even after the screw-up that was Fate. But I am getting it because I don't want a Knights situation. I don't want another Knights situation. Sega, give me another entry that is fantastic, please? Anyway, on to Brady. Brady is a child of Maribel, and they both just so happen to be healers when you get them. I've said this before, I'm not fond of getting healers that only heal. For example, take Jade from Ties of Fate. She is the main healer in the Harmony Army, however, she can also defend herself in battle, which is why, so let's say I was stuck in a room with 3 people, me, wounded on the ground, being stabbed, and there's Maribel and Jade. I would pick Jade. Unless Maribel is a different class, but let's assume that she's a troubadour, which means, yeah, I would pick Jade. I would still pick Jade. Switch it with Brady. I'd still pick Jade. I'm just much more confident in people who can actually defend themselves when you meet them, considering you do have to level Brady when you get him. And, you know, it's also like halfway through the story. It is a little annoying. Moving on. So here's everyone Mary can marry. That sounds weird. Of course, excluding Stahl, Rickon, Gregor, and Henry. Now, let's compare both Maribel and Brady's classes. Mary starts as a troubadour with Mage and Pegasus Knight, while Brady starts with Priest and also Cavalier and Mage. So, who out of these guys can have these classes? Let's start with Priest. The only people who can learn this class naturally are Libra and Kellam. Moving on to Cavalier, we have Crom and Frederick. And with Mage, all we have is Virion. So we can kind of like Donald Longue and Gaius. So what's next? Looking at the growth rates, of course. Maribel has 2 growth rates, according to the wiki, so we will focus only on her standard one as a troubadour. Maribel has higher rates in HP, magic, skill, speed, luck, and resistance, which means Brady is better in strength and defense. So let's first look at Frederick and Virion. Frederick has higher strength and defense than Mary. Virion has higher strength and defense, but also equal resistance like Brady. Next, Kellam and Crom. Kellam seems to have higher strength and defense, and Crom is the same case. And lastly, Libra, who again, higher strength and defense. Okay, I feel like this is getting nowhere. So the total so far is Libra 3, Kellam 3, Crom 3, Frederick 3, and Virion with 4. Now, how do we handle this? Because I am not going to analyze 25 different supports just to top Inigo's last time. I'm not doing that again. No more of that. No. So, okay. Let's see what we know about Brady's past. According to what we know, Brady was taught many things in fine arts because of Maribel. Of freaking course. But he didn't like those things, but ended up doing them because of Maribel. He does like playing the violin, though he got his scar on his face by a snapped violin string, which, if you ever had a guitar string strap on you while tuning it, yeah, I believe that can leave a nasty scar if it hits you hard enough. But after this incident, Brady got out of learning these things and he kept his, apparently, Thegus enunciations, considering he puts his entire appearance on as an act, so that 1, he can be recognized in combat easily so comrades can find him, and also that he hunches over purposely to be able to talk to women and children at eye level. And to not seem like a vulnerable person, which is the main reason he puts on this act. So really, he didn't get this from his mother or his father. In this case, his appearance of being intimidating or frightening and I wanted you to do those lessons, Maribel, did not come from anyone in particular. And I'm pretty sure if you're a child, you don't want to do mostly what your parents say. At least that's how I was and how most kids my age probably were. But anyway, well, maybe we can say that some of his slight rudeness comes from Mary, but if Brady is actually sensitive in nature, then quite possibly we can cross out Frederick, Libra, and Crom. Frederick and Libra are, to me at least, shown to be very serious at most times. They kind of share the same personalities if you think about it, caring for people and doing things for others if asked or not. And Crom, again with the idea of Brady being sensitive, Crom probably isn't that sensitive. He can be serious and sometimes cheery and maybe a bit of an idiot, but this would leave us with Kellam and Virion, which is a much more reasonable size of conversations I can get behind. Now to go watch them all. So let's start with Kellam. A support. Maribel runs into Kellam, who, as always, wasn't noticed because this man was born with some sort of invisibility power. Or he has a Kecleon, one or the other. So Maribel gets angry of running into the suit while Kellam tells her it's him, which reminds Maribel of why does he wear an armor that doesn't fit him properly. Kellam only says it's a bit bigger and that it protects him well and is pretty agile in it. And Mary, being Mary, points out he wears it all the time, even at a wedding? Now it makes me think, whose? Maybe that wedding they stopped at during Noe's support with Rickon? We'll have to see about that. Anyway, Kellam says it's his most comfy outfit and Maribel doesn't accept that and says he should listen to her and try being without it. Best part is, Kellam says he'll think about it and then leaves, and Mary couldn't get to him before he disappears. A Kecleon is actually very handy against Mary. I should remember that. B support. Mary calls out to Kellam and then he appears like a wild Pokemon.
Why so many Pokemon references today?
I have been watching so much Pokemon related stuff lately. I am now slightly more excited about Ultra Sun and Moon, but back to Fire Emblem.
Maribel got Kellam some clothes. Very expensive ones. Kellam points this out and is grateful but still prefers his own armor. And that doesn't make Maribel happy, and when he says he hopes she doesn't mind that he wants to stay in his armor, she asks why.
Turns out his village saved money and bought this armor and sent it to him just as he was about to quit the shepherds. Why? Because they were proud of him getting out of their village and serving a prince, Crom, and is actually successful. The story ends up making Maribel silent as he says it, and she apologizes since she didn't figure the armor actually meant something to him. Wow, Maribel, not even the most simple things come into your mind, do they? Anyway, A support. Kellam thanks Mary for her help in a recent battle. Mary says welcome, kinda, and says it was nice having him at her side, even though it was the other way around, and compares him to a sidekick in some stories her mother used to read to her. Following this, she starts to get a better idea of who Kellam is, and is inspired by him and brings up the fact that after the war she wants to be a judge advocate. You'll learn more of this in her support with Libra. Kellam says she's brave, and Mary thinks he's the braver one as he's taken the harder road every day. And as support, Kellam finds Mary and says he was thinking about her dream after the war and says he might be able to help if he was around. Turns out Mary was thinking the same thing. She's liked having him at her side. Kellam's happy to hear that. And Mary, being Mary, says he'll be a good butler. Oh my god, Mary. At least it's in character? He says he doesn't want to work for her, and Mary says no one works for her. Everyone is treated like family. They even get days off. And Kellam finally says he wants to marry her. Even if he is a lower class than her, he doesn't care. And if she wanted someone richer than him, that she could find someone else. And Mary agrees. Kinda. Yes, she agrees. Mary's not my favorite character if you haven't noticed. Unless she's with Alyssa. Sorry. Next, Virion. C support. So Mary called Virion, and he starts his normal flirty chatter as always, and Mary says flattery quickly loses its charm, saying if he's really a noble, he should watch what he says. So he says sure, maybe she can teach him over dinner. Such smoothness. And Mary obviously denies the invitation. And Virion is a bit hurt by Mary's harsh words that follow after. Even more insults coming from Mary's mouth. Virion is even more hurt. And yeah, this kind of repeats in the convo again, over and over. So, asking what he needs to do is that he needs to do more than just sugar-coated words to get through to Mary. Nice. Be support. Virion seems a bit down to Maribel. Virion was trying to hide his feelings for her, but he's like that because he's tired of hearing everyone whine in the army. So much so that his ears hurt that he had to retreat. Oh boy. Which is why he didn't help in the last battle. He only came to help at the end of the battle, but it turns out he ended up surrounded only for Crom to come and save his ass, and he says it was all a part of his plan. Virion, you never learn. And, this isn't Echoes, my friend, and you certainly aren't Leon. And in come even more of Maribel's insults to Virion. I'm sure you can read them on screen by yourselves. Which, like any normal person, upsets Virion. And I do feel a bit bad for Virion after this. Mary has a very sharp tongue. Luckily enough, she realizes her mistake and tries to apologize, but Virion pushes it aside and leaves to think. A support. Maribel finds Virion since she hasn't seen him lately. Virion has apparently been doing noble deeds for a while. Before Mary could apologize again, Virion says he has to leave, but before he does, Mary points out that he has been looking tired. She misses the energetic Virion that he was before. Virion says that when she called him out on many things, he actually had to think about his own life. So much so that he barely ate. But Mary says he's proven her wrong since he is wondering if he's worthy or not, if what he's been doing is wrong or not. But she says that proves he is worthy, and Virion is relieved and says he must go to the inn, but he falls over. Maribel screams for help, and Virion says he felt dizzy because he hasn't ate anything. So Maribel suggests instead of eating at the inn that she makes a stew from a bear she hunted earlier, and Virion accepts. So, is bear meat in this universe like an equivalent of cow meat? Or in medieval times, I guess? I need to research this. And as support, Virion thanks Maribel for the stew the other day. She says she considers him a friend and loves listening to his stories, like getting lost in his castle, because she has before as well. Virion points out they have many things in common, and says they should talk about more romantic things over stew again. Mary isn't happy about his flirty manners appearing again, after starting to think of him better, of course. So to prove himself, he shows a ring, saying he's always been an admirer, and Mary realizes that when he was judging himself so much that he starved himself almost to death was because of her, and says it's gallant. And Virion agrees and asks to marry her. So Mary figures he won't stop asking her if she said no, so she said yes. And to make things better, he has to marry into her family because they have no male heirs, and her father would have to adopt him. Virion isn't, keen on having to live with her parents, but he sucks it up and says yes. So with that, who is the most likely candidate for Brady's father? Kellam. Why? Because of Brady's support with his father. It makes a lot more sense with Kellam. I had marry Virion in my first playthrough of Awakening, and the conversation Brady had with Virion seemed very off. Since he said he doesn't do tea time, okay, maybe not every male noble would do that, but I usually figure Virion would like this sort of thing. And it just seems off for him. The entire conversation seems off for Virion. With Kellam, it makes much more sense. Sure, Virion may have more in common with Brady, but Kellam just makes it a whole... I don't know what that means. It's because of his sensitive nature, or maybe his shyest nature that he has, and the personality Brady actually has when not being... well, not putting on an act of being a thug. It just fits a lot more, if you think about it. Virion is kind of brave in his own sense, and a bit flirty, which doesn't fit Brady at all. So, I'm going with Kellam. So, we have come to a conclusion of Kellam for Brady's father, assuming he has a blonde gene somewhere in his family. So to recap, Severo's father is Henry, Na's father is Rickon, Inigo's father is Gregor, Brady's father is Kellam, and Noir's father is Stahl. So that means we can actually move on to Cynthia. Yay! And that also means the return of the shipyard wheel, which you guys won't see till next time, so no shipyard wheel this episode. So if you like this theory, you can go look at the other theories that I did on my channel. You can look at the older version of this particular theory, because I'm leaving it up. I don't care, I'm leaving it up. But if you're also interested in what else I do, you can check out the channel. You can also check out the Pokemon anniversary album I did in honor of the 20th anniversary of Pokemon last year. Or you can watch me play Danganronpa V3 for the first time ever and see my stupid reactions to everything. Because nothing is more fabulous than watching me be a complete idiot, I guarantee it. Well, not really, but still. If you want to support me in what I do, or whatever, as I venture into the world of 3D animation, hopefully this November, hopefully, I have a Patreon that you can see here. Hopefully it's up there right now. Hopefully it is there. But, yeah, you can support me on Patreon. And lastly, if you want to listen to something while you're doing homework, work, maybe the laundry or something, or just need something as white noise, I suggest listening to Ties of Fate over on the HarmonyNet Studios channel. Again, this is a story that I have worked on with a friend for about, 10 years now, and the story has been finalized and has taken inspiration from various things, including Fire Emblem. So I suggest you go listen to that if you want. I mean, the cast is amazing. If you want to listen to more of my voice acting, you can go listen to it there. Don't worry, I don't use the Morgan voice in there anywhere. You're safe. You're safe. So with that, bye-bye.